All right, everyone, welcome back to Home Gym Harry's. Today I'm going to give a brief walkthrough of the Speediance Gym Monster. I really love this machine. It's basically a smart, functional trainer, so it has digital resistance. It goes up to 220 pounds, so 110 per each arm. Let's turn it on and get started. Here is the Speediance Gym Monster 1.0. They do now have a 2.0. The pulleys are a little bit bigger. They claim it's a little bit smoother. There isn't a whole lot of difference, really. I opted for the smaller screen because it tilts up and down. They do have an option with a bigger screen, but then you lose the functionality of tilting it. So it comes with several attachments. They're okay. I have a ton of attachments, as you know, so I haven't really used theirs all that much, but it comes with a barbell, which you can adjust the width of where it attaches, a lightweight rowing bar as well, some D handles that are sort of cheap plastic. They do now have D handles that are digital and Bluetooth enabled, so you can click the end and then the weight will turn on and off automatically. There's also a tricep rope, sort of the cheap thing that you would get in a commercial gym, some ankle straps, but you do get a lot of attachments with it. So right out of the box, you can really use it. Super easy to start. It comes in the box flat. The platform folds down. You lock it in with these two clips at the bottom, plug it in, and you're ready to go. These are obviously not the D handles they come with, but the beauty of this is because they have this system with these pentagonal clips. You can put on any attachment you want to this. I opted for the flat bench. It's a sort of cheap foldable flat bench. I don't really use it all that much, but it does fit perfectly on the platform, which is really nice. They do have an adjustable option, but I didn't opt for that at the time. I just used my regular FID bench and put it on here to do, bench press or whatever else I want to do. Comes with a rower if you opt for that. My wife really likes to do those classes, but you can use this as a ski erg, as a rower. Comes with ski erg handles. So you can use it for much more than just strength training. There's also some cardio you can do with it. Why you would want to do cardio though, I'm not sure. Trolleys go up and down as with any functional trainer. It's a narrow width, but you can sort of get, any sort of exercise you would want to do. With two arms, it'll work. You can also do anything for one side as well. It comes with a Bluetooth ring. Some of the things you can do with the ring are you can scroll with it to change the load, so you can make it heavier or lighter just from the dial. As you push the end in, it'll automatically turn on the weight and turn off the weight. And so that's been really a nice feature to get into position, turn on the weight, do the exercise, then get out of position. And it's much easier than dealing with a weight stack where you're struggling to, retract the weight and don't want to go flying off. So, I really like that feature. The other thing I will say is I got this cheap foot pedal off of Amazon. Super easy to connect to this machine. There's a dongle that goes in the back. So as you press the foot pedal, similar to the ring, but this only does on and off. You can't change the load, but really nice if you're sitting down in a certain position, doing exercise. Click it with your foot, weight turns off or on. All right, well, I'm gonna show this now for chest press. So I typically do chest press seated. So the weight's off now. Can pull the handles out, get into position. Really nice, get set up. I can click the foot pedal. The weight goes on. Can do chest press. And then when I'm done, click, turn the weight off, release the weight. Very easy to get in and out. You can also use the ring instead of the foot pedal if you want. But, really nice system to get in and out of position. Turn on the weight, turn off the weight easily. So you can see as it powers up, it'll give me a couple profiles here that you saved, and it tracks all your stats, not dissimilar to the Peloton right there in any other smart gym. So it's really great in that way. Keeps your stats. So let's go into my profile, start training. And this is something that I paid for. I didn't get it for free. Would have loved that, but I didn't. So Speediance, if you're watching, would love the new one or anything else that you come out with. So here's the main screen you have here. I typically go into free lift down here at the bottom. They have programming and all that. It's more sort of walking you through the exercises than it is like a class like Peloton where they're motivating you. But that is something you have the option to do. The version that we got came with both a rower, so you can do rowing classes off of it, as well as ski erg handles, so you can do that by pulling down, using it that way. I typically don't do that much. I typically use it just as, as if I would any other functional trainer, so for more strength building. All right. Well, let's walk through what the screen gives you in free lift mode, because that's typically the version that I use it in. So at the top, it has your profile, has how long you've been working out, how much pounds you've lifted in this session, what your output is, and how many calories you burned. You can connect smartwatches and things like that to get your heart rate and have a little bit more accurate tracking. But I typically use it as if I would a weight stack, so I don't add any of that. Standard is the first one. It's just your basic functional trainer mode as if you're using a stack. Chains, so it simulates chains, so they're heavier at the top when more of the chains are off the ground. So as you pull out from the machine, it gets heavier. As you move towards the machine, it gets lighter. Eccentric, so on the way in from the machine, it gets heavier. On the way out, it drops the weight. So I use that feature a lot, really like it. And then fixed speed, I don't really use that all too much. That's mainly more for rehab and whatnot, but haven't really used that. So next we have the types of accessories you're using. So if you want to operate this independently with two arms, you can use the dumbbell. So each will be its own thing. Let's go back to standard mode. So as you pull on the left side, you can pull on the right side independently. You can also set it to barbell if you have some sort of attachment that connects the two ends. That way it pulls a lot smoother when you're pulling them together. There's also preference. So you can have partner mode actually, which is very cool. So you can set one side to one weight, set one to the other, and two people can be working out at the same time. And those each turn on and off individually, the weight load. But let's go out of partner mode. You can flip the display as well. So if you're benching underneath it, you can tilt the screen down, flip the display so you can actually read it. And that's very nice for benching. So you can still look at the screen of what you're doing. And there's different assist modes. There's two here. So as we click in there, there's one that sort of helps you when it's going too slow. It'll help you out. That's assist 1. And then assist 2 is if you're stuck at all during the movement, including the top or the bottom, it'll immediately trigger the assist. So it acts as your own spotter. So we'll put it on the second assist mode, turn on the weight, and you'll see I'm only pulling the left side. We're doing our reps at the normal weight. See, I'm struggling to get anywhere. It'll automatically lower the weight. You can continue doing your reps and get the most out of your sets. So very cool feature. So below we have the power of this. So you can see when I turn this on, as we pull the two arms, it'll track the power out of each side independently. You can see the range of motion here on the right side. So as you move these, you can see how well they're timed together or not. You can see it's super easy to turn on the weight down here. Just click it. You can either click the actual big number or hit turn on and then use the plus and minus to go up and down in weight. So you can actually drag it. So because this is set to dumbbell, each side can go up to 110. So for example, you can go that, set it to 110. Each arm will be 110 pounds. When you're in eccentric mode, which is my favorite, so say we're at 40 pounds of resistance per side, you can change the eccentric portion here by clicking that number, and it goes up to basically 50% of whatever your original load is. So I can go up to 20 additional pounds, so the total will be 60. So to demonstrate that, so when you pull on it, you're pulling 40. On the way back, you'll see it goes up to 60. So very cool. It also counts your reps and your sets. You can reset it and it'll continue to count those. All right, so like any functional trainer, you can move these trolleys up and down. Pop pin, very simple. There's 9 positions. They're labeled. So you drag it, it clips in. Very easy, and then you can start lifting. So same for the other side. You can also, there's a button up here that you can click to take this whole part off. And then you can clip it down here so that you have a really low point. And if you want to slide a bench in here, you can do benching from that. So really nice to have the low point as well. Very easy, just a button, slide it out, put it back at the top. Now, a couple modifications that I've done to my Speediance. It comes with a pretty cheap foam mat that has magnets on the back of it. It doesn't really hold that well. It moves around. I hated it. I got rid of it. Underneath, you know, it's just like a plastic metal base. So I didn't want that to wreck any of my attachments or lose grip when I was using that. So I cut out a piece of a horse stall mat, put it on. Almost lost my fingers, but I kept them, so that was good. That's been one modification. The other one is this fan up here, really nice. Plugs into the back of the machine because they have some USB ports on the back. Turn on. That's great as well to keep you nice and cool. Now, I also added some weights here to keep it down when doing certain movements. Typically, if you're standing on the platform, it's not going to move. I don't have enough good things to say about the Speediance. You know, there are a couple of shortcomings. It is expensive, I know, but I think, you know, relative to some of the other options out there, you're getting a pretty good value. For all the features that we've talked about, you can easily add eccentrics. The load is super easy to change, so you're saving time there versus, you know, loading a barbell or something like that. The, you know, other downside, it is kind of short. I'm about 6'1". You can see I'm sort of topping out around the top here. So for lat pull downs, it's not ideal. For anything else, you know, it's pretty good. You can pull down on it for tricep work. You can, you know, do anything else you would want to do standing up. All right, well, something that I have done to get around the non-vertical pull and sort of the low pull point for lat pull downs is this is a cross member. Well, it's really an upright that I've mounted onto my power rack, added some pulleys here and threaded some cables that attach onto the Speediance. You can see it's a very vertical pull. Get a good stretch at the top, pull down, then the eccentrics kick in, pulls it up. Feels really good. Thank you so much for tuning to my review of the Speediance Gym Monster. I don't think I'm going back to traditional weight stacks anytime soon. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Happy to answer any questions that you have. All right, thank you.